What's poppin', my aspiring artists? Today, we're going to be talking about why J. Cole fans love him so much. I'm going to be your host, Alex, from OnTheComeUpArtist.com. Let's get on with the video. All right, so we could probably chalk it up to three reasons why people love J. Cole so much. And I think the number one reason is his relatability factor. Think about it. If you were to see J. Cole walking down the street, J. Cole as he is, and you didn't know who J. Cole was, you would think he's a regular guy, right? Him walking down the street with no jewelry, with regular ass Adidas clothes or whatever, just like your broke ass would be wearing. I'm just fucking with you guys. Fucking with you guys. You would probably think to yourself, yeah, he's a normal ass guy, right? Recently, I actually saw him in concert. I think it was trying to remember. I think it was October 2016. It was like a festival. There was Post Malone, Damian Marley, and it was like a multiple day festival. That was that day when Kanye found out that his wife got robbed or whatever, and she had the gun pointed to her head. It was the day before that, actually. J. Cole was the main act, and then the next day Kanye was the main act. I think along with Chance the Rapper as well. Chance the Rapper. And J. Cole was the main act the day that I was there, that I happened to be there. And his dress, the way he dressed, it just blew my mind. Like that he was able to dress like this, and he had the biggest crowd out of every single other person who performed that night, because he was the main act. He performed at the end of the day. His crowd was so big that, you know what he was wearing? He looked like he was about to fucking play basketball. He was wearing a hoodie, and he was wearing shorts and some basketball shoes with some high knee socks. He straight up looked like he was about to play basketball. And then this guy that looks like he's about to play basketball has the biggest goddamn crowd out of every single other person that performed that night. It's mind-boggling. What do you think of when you think of J. Cole? You think of that small town guy from North Carolina who decided to get himself away from this negativity that he always talks about, that's a block away from his house at all times, and he always had the ability to get caught up with the wrong crowd, but he decided not to because he had this dream of rapping since he was a young boy. He was always writing. He had his mother buy that beat making machine for him, and that was always his dream. He tried not to get caught up in that, so he decided, you know what? The best course of action for me is to go and move to New York, and that's gonna be my opportunity. Because most rappers at the time made it out of New York, so that was his thinking. So he's like, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna go pack up my bags. I'm gonna go to St. John's University, and I'm gonna go to school there. And while I'm in school, I'm going to continue working on my music, and hopefully I'll get signed. Obviously, in the end, he did. But yeah, so he ended up going to college, just like you and I, just like every other regular millennial, does at his age, the college age from 18 to 22 years old. So again, that's very relatable. And then what does he do in college? He meets a girl who to this day he's still with. So for the typical guy like you and I, we're going to be with the same girl for many, many years, right? We're going to be monogamous in our relationships. Even if it doesn't work out, even if it's for a couple of years at a time, we're going to be monogamous. How do most of these other rappers go about this? They're usually not in a monogamous relationship, or maybe they will be for a little while and then they'll go and cheat, or they'll have at one time like 60 women left and right coming at them. They're taking pictures, and that's not normal. That's not something normal for a regular person like you and I. But again, he makes sure to include that as part of his image. He makes sure that he's not getting caught having pictures taken of him with other women. And now just think about the music that he makes. Like that song Wet Dreams, that's so relatable to that regular dude that's sitting and chilling in his high school class. He's never got it yet, if you feel me. We all had that moment. We hadn't gotten it yet, and we were looking at that girl with that fat ass with the brown skin, and we were checking her out, and we didn't know how to go about it. We didn't know how to ask her out. We didn't know what to do, and we just had a fucking, you guys can't lie about this, random boner, middle of the classroom. We all had that shit, and he's talking about that in the song. It takes a lot of guts to do some shit like that, but we all had that. That's why we all love that fucking song. And I think the number one factor that contributes to his relatability, the most important thing, is that he's really not afraid to show his imperfections. I remember this one interview that I watched of his where he was talking about how he had a photo shoot taken of him, and in the photo shoot, or in the photo that he had taken of him, he had his, because he has a little bit of a unibrow coming in right here, and don't judge me. I got a little bit too. You feel me? But I got it. You know, I clean it up. And I remember this one interview that he had where he was talking about how he had a photography session where this, you know, his photographer obviously took pictures of him, and then he saw the pictures later, and then he notices that, you know, he has a little bit of a unibrow growing in, and he notices that that middle section is gone. And he asked the photographer, hey, like what happened? Like, you know, this shit was almost connecting. What the fuck did you do? You touched it. And he's like, oh yeah, I cleaned it up. And he's like, no, man, like leave that in there. I want them to feel like I'm fucking real. Like I want them to know that everybody got imperfections, even J. Cole. So when he makes a song like Crooked Smiles, he doesn't sound like a hypocrite because he's real. He lives by the shit that he preaches. He goes, hey, it's okay to have crooked teeth. It's okay to have a bad hair day. J. Cole also can have a bad hair day. J. Cole also got the little unibrow growing in. J. Cole ain't fucking perfect either. The number 2 reason why his fans love him so much is his charisma. His charisma is on a whole nother level. And then I think he has a little bit of that to owe to what he studied in college, which was communication. Obviously, some of that is just normal to him, right? He got rich, he bought a house for his mom, he gives charity. He makes sure that he uses his platform not for himself and talk about his own story, even though he's done that before, obviously. As a musician, you want people to know about you. But these last 2 albums especially, he used for other people. He was talking about, in this last album, KOD, he was talking about how the youth is turning to drugs and how the rappers these days are super young, and then they're doing the wrong thing, they're doing the drugs, and they're influencing other people to do it. And the album before that he was talking about one of his boys back in the hood. And then he also does this a lot in interviews. I remember back when Forest Hills Drive first came out and he did the interview on 105.1 with Angie Martinez. He was talking about other things like how music is becoming money oriented, and you know, it used to be where jazz was like a black music, was like a black people music, and now it's all white people because the white person is much easier. It's much easier to be able to market the white person because it's more sexy for the audience to listen to a white man, and it's, you know, it brings more money into the pockets of the people that are making the music or the people that own the record labels. So instead of talking about his album and promoting his album Forest Hills Drive, which he didn't even do before the album came out, now he has the opportunity to do it while the album is out and talk about, you know, what the process was like and everything for the album. And he did a little bit of that, but he used most of that time to talk about issues that were important to him, but didn't have to necessarily do with him directly. And then another thing that contributed to his charisma, and I think this is where the communications that he learned from college really played a role, but who knows, maybe he was like this all his life, and then maybe college enhanced it a little bit. His ability to have a conversation, and not just to have a conversation, but to also listen to people, which is the most important thing to get a person to really like you, is that he's able to engage in a way that most people aren't able to engage. How many people can have eye-to-eye contact for a long period of time and listen to other people? Most people only want to fucking talk about themselves. Just think about it. When you're talking to your friends or anybody, it's like a battle for who's going to get the spotlight to talk about themselves. It's like one person speaks about themselves and then the other person answers back speaking about themselves, and it's like nobody's really getting through to each other. But he's able to listen to you, keep an eye contact with you, and then he's also able to give you back emotions to make sure that you know that he's listening. So if you say something that's a little bit funny, he'll smile, he'll laugh a little bit. Or if you're telling him something serious, he's gonna nod his head, he's gonna bring his eyebrows down a little bit, make sure that he shows you that it's serious what you're talking about. He knows that you're listening. He'll even offer back some word of advice. And I think the final third thing that makes his fans love him so much is that he's extremely personal. Like right now, I'm thinking about the time where he did that single person tour where he literally just took I think it was a truck or a bus or whatever the fuck it was, and he went out and he just started touring around the States to kids that were like extreme fans of his that were either sick or had cancer or something was, you know, so they had some kind of issue, but they always longed to see J. Cole. So he went out and he And he did that for them. And there was no monetary gain from this because he was doing it as a surprise and he was doing it for one person. Think about it. When you do a show, you're getting thousands of people to come and willingly pay to see you do the show. So the more people are paying for the tickets, the more you're making, and you're still doing the same amount of work no matter how many people are there. So if you're there giving a performance for 2 hours for 100 people or 2 hours for 10,000 people, you're working the same amount, but you're getting more. But here he is, he's doing concerts for only one person. No monetary gain from that. And then when he did Forest Hills Drive, his only form of promotion was that he had a listening party for a house, for his childhood house that he had purchased right before the album came out, renovated it to look exactly like it did from his childhood, brought the people over to his house, brought the kids over from his neighborhood to his house, and let them listen to his music. So that's extremely personal again, and it's basically like he's bringing them into his personal life, into his childhood. So then they feel like they're really a part of J. Cole, because it's like, you know, I live in North Carolina. I live in this neighborhood where J. Cole used to live, and my house looks exactly like this, or like, you know, it looks really similar to this. And this is a lifestyle that I live in. And damn, like what he's saying on, you know, the lyrics that he's saying in his album, they relate so much to me. Listen, man, there's so much to keep talking about J. Cole. I fucking love him. I hope you guys do too. And I hope you guys learned something from this. Enjoy the album. I hope you enjoyed the video. And I really, really enjoyed making it for you. So please like, comment, subscribe, suggest new videos in the comment section below, please. And thank you for watching. Peace.